Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? What's good? What's good? Yeah, I'm running like seriously late this morning. Seriously late. Um, didn't sleep too well. Wasn't a lot of fun, but that's all right. We've got news today. We've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We should be happy about it. Should be, could be. But there is a lot going on. Don't forget to invest in yourselves today. There you go. Because I didn't add that to the top. And I still have my notes to get to. Told you it's been a long. It was a long night. And it is definitely a long morning already. Preparing for the storms. The storm that is coming. There could be a second punch next week. We're still waiting to find out about that, but got to get gas. I mean, I have some gas in the house, but got to get gas just to be prepared. And we'll see what's up with that. Not sure why I can't see myself on YouTube. That's odd. Can somebody tap in and let me know if they see me on YouTube? Yes, I know I need to add my logo. But that's very strange that I can't see myself. I mean, it's telling me everything is fine, but I don't see the image. There you go. It just came in. So I guess they're just having streaming issues. No problem at all. Now, let me get to my notes. I know you guys don't need the commentary, but I do. I need to get through everything. Let's go through this. All right, because there is a ton of news to get to. The European Union, just as an investment kind of thing, has put 500,000 euro into a new startup, into a new business called W, and they're supposed to be going head to head up against X. How's that for craziness? Just saying, that is absolutely bonkers. Because it's a country level thing, not just a simple thing. So we've got that. We've got a PwC report predicts that global crypto regulation will shift to reinforcement. Shift to enforcement by the end of this year, with the EU advancing the MICAR, and digital euro initiatives. There's a lot going on in the regulatory space. That means that we need to be paying attention to it because we need to know what's going to help, what's going to hurt in terms of crypto and in terms of business. Right now, the way regulations seem to be working in the United States is, it seems, because it's being reported by several people, it seems that you're going to have a head-to-head between traditional finance and fintech. Now, yesterday I had gone into why it's such a big deal that the American Banking Association is going so heavy and so hard after stable coins and staking. Well, that's why. It's because they're already facing, exaggerated competition from fintechs, and now they're going to also have to deal with competition from crypto, and they're not prepared. They're ill prepared for it. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Lethargy is a bad thing. Lethargy is a bad thing. What is it? A rolling stone gathers no moss or something like that. Just saying. South Korea's Gwangju prosecutors revealed a $48 million Bitcoin loss from a 2025 phishing attack, citing vulnerabilities in crypto custody protocols and security practices. What that all boils down to is they confiscated that crypto, and now they can't find it. You confiscated the crypto at the level of millions, and you can't find it now. I'm going to let that sit there. I'm going to let that rock. You guys couldn't tell me that my collar was all disheveled and everything. I'm looking all homeless and everything. Looking like a project. Man, oh man. So, okay, that's better. That's mucho bettero. Excuse me. Amazon plans to lay off 30,000 people following 14,000 just in 2025. 30,000 people. I told you guys, the jobs market is going to be tough, and we're going to have to pay attention to that. And here's the kicker: those jobs, a lot of those are corporate level jobs. Pay attention, folks. Things are afoot, and we should be paying attention to what's going on. DeFi Development Corp launched Don't meme coin, a Solana-based meme token, but a wallet accumulated 7% of tokens before launch, prompting scrutiny and the destruction of 17 billion tokens amid a price surge. That sounds kind of sketchy, right? Because only insiders would know about it at that point. Exactly. I'm just putting that out there for you as like a common sense thing. Then you've got Bitcoin is remaining below 90. I mean, there's nothing sexy about that. Nothing. Bitcoin can't hit 90. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because, I'm just going to keep saying it. I just think it has to do with manipulation. It really does. Bitcoin would have been fine, except that, you use the T word, tariffs, and immediately everything tanks. Immediately everything tanks. And a lot of people are recognizing that who gets rich off of that? Only people in the know and friends, meaning in the know. So you sit there and you're kind of like, so who's getting rich off of that? Nobody at the retail level. No regular person like us. Again, manipulation at the highest of levels. At least that's how a lot of people are looking at it, because they keep calling it out. They keep calling it out. Who knows to short? Who knows when to buy? We'll look at the charts in a little bit. We will absolutely get into the charts in a little bit. The Bank of Japan kept its rate at 0.75% amid added growth and inflation forecasts. People were calling for it to go lower. They were like, we don't need to go lower. We're going to hold it right here. Makes sense. They have less levers to pull. And they're like, well, if we don't need to pull it, let's not. So they left it alone for right there. The SEC and CFTC collaborated on Trump's crypto agenda while Senate committees struggled to pass a stablecoin bill. That's right. There's turmoil in D.C. And I don't mean because of the storm that's coming. The storm that's already here. Nobody's working it out well. The CFTC is short-staffed. The SEC and the CFTC still need to figure out who's in charge of what, when, how, why, all that stuff. Again, it's almost, you've had a year. You've had a year, and then you had prep time before the new regime stepped in to take office. And you sit there and you're kind of like, are you kidding? Are you joking? Are you for real with this? Not a good look. I'm honestly going to say, not a good look. Capital One acquired fintech company Brex. Let me tell you how devastating this was. So Brex has a competitor called Ramp, right? This is some petty level stuff, but I love it. I'm here for it. So Brex gets bought by Capital One, and the CEO of Ramp, who also came from Capital One, sends a note over to the Brex team saying, congratulations on your sale. This was not a happy note. This was some petty level stuff, because Brex got sold for below its previous valuation. So if Brex gets sold for $5.5 billion, its previous evaluation was above $12 billion. And who's their number one competitor? Ramp. Yeah, that's some devious level. That's some deviant level stuff right there. That's completely deviant. Binance's founder, Changpeng Zhao, predicted crypto would become the default currency for all AI agents, critiqued Bitcoin payments. Well, yeah, because Bitcoin's not meant for that day-to-day transactional thing. It's too expensive for that, too wonky for that. So yeah, you're going to have other things that'll take off. You'll have stable coins. But everybody's like, oh, stable coins will do everything. Stable coins are not the only coins out there. And let me tell you something else. There are going to be a lot of businesses, a lot of stores that are not going to want to deal with coins that are absolutely controlled by their government. Just saying. I'm just going to put that out there for you. That's a for real kind of thing right there. More news. U.S. prosecutors dropped the case against former OpenSea manager against a former OpenSea manager for insider trading. Back when it was happening, that was a big case, and all of a sudden the case just goes away, dropped. What? When those events were happening, it seemed like a slam dunk case. I'm just saying. SK Hynix and Samsung drove the semiconductor surge with rising memory chip prices boosted by AI demand. AI demand that's artificially high, I think, in my humble opinion. Because you're stockpiling, chips and cards for data centers that aren't here yet. And other companies said, we're not going to do retail memory. We're only going to do memory for this stuff. I think a reality check is coming. And it's going to be a big one. A reality check is coming for a lot of these companies that are dependent upon AI or that have taken the AI medicine, have been partaking in the drinking of AI Kool-Aid. I think that they're gonna have issues. I absolutely think they're gonna have issues. It's not even a question about it. You have top executives of top companies, both in and out of tech, in and out of finance, saying, listen, AI, yeah, that bubble is real. That bubble is real. So you have a ton of circle jerk business deals, and everybody's sitting back going, what does that even mean? You don't have the data centers, you don't have the chips, you don't have the capacity, you don't have any of that. And you don't have the money to do that deal. One of the deals was so ridiculous that it seemed like one of the companies, no, I'm specifically not naming names for a reason, but you can guess who they are. And you can actually research who they are. Just saying. Literally said, so you're going to pay them, and they're going to take that money that you're paying to buy your stuff. So you're investing in them, but they have to buy your stuff. So you're giving it to them for free? Like, what's the deal with that? Like, what is the actual... You're booking money in that's booking money in strange ways. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at some of these circle jerk deals, and I'm just like, what does that mean? Huh? You paying yourself... At the end of the day, you wind up paying yourself for moving equipment and then buy... It's really confusing. There are charts out there that show you the connections between these companies, between the various companies. And it really is the craziest of circle jerks. The craziest of circle jerks. And I'm just like, all right, no, you do you. You do you. At Davos, CZ predicted crypto would definitely dominate the AI space. Why? He didn't say stablecoins. He said crypto. I just wanted to bring that out there to you. He said crypto. Just saying, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm just like, there's a lot to parse. I mean, we've got like 20 articles published this morning. You should go read them. Go over to growmybag.tv/articles and go read them. There's a lot of information that's out there. And we look for corroborating information. We look for a whole bunch of stuff. Coinbase introduced a $1 million USDC loan service for eligible U.S. customers using CBETH as collateral with over-collateralization requirements and variable interest rates. If you've got the ETH and you're staking, you can over-collateralize on that, earn some, and do whatever it is you're going to do, and deal with variable interest rates. I had to keep my eyes closed because it was it's mind-boggling. It's a mind-boggling. Now, some companies would be able to do that and make money. Some people would be able to do that and lose money. I'm just sitting back and going, why is that even a vehicle? We're going to allow you to over-allocate your funds and decrease your chances of winning. What's the range of the variable interest rate? That's the part that gets me. Variable interest rate. That's Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin criticized internet centralization, shifted to privacy platforms, and emphasized 2026 as a pivotal year for digital autonomy. I don't know if you've noticed, but that seems to be a theme. Microsoft was out there talking about data sovereignty as you're leveraging AI. And here we are talking about digital autonomy. Very close subjects. Privacy, sovereignty, meaning control over your data, are two different things, but related things, directly related things. They correlate to one another, and they're very important. And what these executives are saying to you are, be careful and be mindful of where your data is. Can't have autonomy and privacy if you don't have sovereignty, meaning complete control over your data. It's big things, very big things. But you know what we should do? That's right. We should get into the numbers. Let me get my notes out of the way. Start down here. All right. So, oh, come on. Are you serious? Let's get to the U.S. There you go. Dow Jones. What? The market's not open yet. I don't understand why these numbers are still up. That's weird. It's very weird. These are yesterday's numbers. Oh, that's not cool. Whatever. So the numbers are the numbers. I cannot discern because the markets aren't quite open yet. And they're saying these are the numbers and not futures numbers. Last updated to 122. Today's the 23rd. That's why I don't trust these numbers right here. I think they forgot to refresh their page. Let me see if I can do something to get it there. Nope, and it's not picking up that we're in today. Nope. I thought they had gotten there, but they did not. Yeah, no, we'll skip those numbers for today. Sorry, guys. So we've got SLB&V. We've got a whole bunch of companies that are coming. What is... Hold on a second, folks. Yeah, okay. All right, now it makes sense. For a second there, I thought I was looking at the wrong list, but this is actually the right list. So First Citizens Bank shares is something I'm interested in. Booz Allen Hamilton, big firm, is something I'm looking at. Webster Financial Corporation, Republic Bank Corp. Who else is there? BV Financial. So I'm looking at all the financial institutions right now, and I'm just wondering how are the shares moving. I'm wondering how the shares are moving. And then I'm going to be looking at liquidity. I want to see what the prep is today. I'm expecting a big sell-off because I'm expecting next week to be a wreck. Storm starts to come in Saturday night. Mr. Manisi, thank you for letting us know you invested in yourself. Good morning. It's IAG. It's IAG, right? Oh, no, I don't put... When you see my face on, I don't have the logo on when you see my face. That counts as... the logo in that particular point. I did have the logo on earlier too. Thanks for catching that for me though. I appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you. So yeah, the numbers, I'm looking at financials right now. I'm looking at where financials are. I'm looking where those stocks are. I'm looking at where liquidity is flowing into and out of, but I'm also expecting sell-off today. Why am I expecting sell-off today? Well, in the United States, we've got a big storm coming and it's not looking pretty. It's not looking pretty. It's looking like a devastating storm for at least half the country. Just saying. Today is Friday. What kind of notes are we expecting today? Consumer sentiment. The final numbers come out at 10 at 9:45. I don't know why this is all messed up. These numbers coming out at 10. It's because it's the most important number. And then you have S&P Flash U.S. Services PMI numbers coming out. But that's 9:45. 9:45 should have come before 10 o'clock. Just saying. Crypto Fear and Greed Index, we're at 24. Yesterday we are at 20. Just saying. Right now, the Fear and Greed Index, we are below $120 billion in total value locked. And yes, that to me is a very big deal. We need to be at 125 and above. We like to hover at around 150 because that puts us in striking range of true all-time highs. We're nowhere near that right now. Bitcoin, as you can see, is having a hard time getting above $90,000. And you can see we soon as we hit tariff, we dropped. And when that first happened, that was a pretty decent sized drop, and it dropped us below what was becoming our floor, and then it dropped again significantly because that's when he introduced more volatility. I may or may not take it by force. Yeah. And then we found out, well, I might not do that, but still, it was a might, and it dropped all the way down to here, rebounded, but now we seem to be moving laterally. But we're moving laterally. We're moving laterally down here when it should have been up here. Had he not run his freaking mouth, we would have been up here and in striking distance of $100,000. But no, he's got to run his mouth and manipulate the markets. That's not a good thing. Not a good thing. Too much volatility. Nobody likes too much volatility. Almost predictable volatility is what we're looking for. That right there is a mess right now. But what you can see is there are a lot of opportunities out there to buy things, and you can get in. For me, I'm just holding. I'm DCAing, but I'm holding everything else. I'm not putting in any extra liquidity. I'm simply holding where I'm at and doing DCA. That's it. DCA, and that's it. I'm not putting any extras in. I'm not. I'm just looking at businesses that we could buy, might buy, but I'm waiting. Why am I waiting? I think there's going to be another economic hammer that's going to hit, and it's going to be painful for people. That's why. Looking at the numbers right now across the board, yeah, this just backs up exactly what I'm saying. We need to understand the rhythm of certain coins, right? How coins are moving, and this board actually helps. That's something else I want to do. Let's get over here. Let's look at the losers. All righty. So losers stop right there. Pumped up fund is down 6% at 2.58 GMB X factor, and there's nobody else on this list that I care about. The reason why I show you these lists is because if you go through these lists, you start to understand who's down and who's up. Because you might be able to play these tiny little short runs, right? I day trade off of this. I will. That's why I came up with the GMB X factor. It lets me know what my true upside is. From this point right here, what's my true upside? That's why I have that number. But what I'm really looking at is something over here. Just how far are you moving from day to day? You're up 2%, you're down 3%, you're down 2%, you're up 3%. That's a 5% move. Very dangerous to be playing there, but there is money to be made. Just saying. Looking at winners, yeah, winners list. Yeah, that's a short list. Now, I want you to think about this. The winners list is the top 25 out of the top 250 coins. Same thing with the losers, except with the bottom 250 coins. When I see that we're stopping right here at number 5, that means that everybody else is basically trading at the unchanged level. So Axie Infinity is there, up 5.25%, but they have a GMB X factor of 60.53. Yeah, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Do I have faith in them that they'll come back? I have a little bit of faith. What is my time frame prediction for the economic hammer? I think it's going to happen all year this year. I think later on this year we could see some upside to the markets in general. But I think you're going to see companies take an economic hit. But more than companies take an economic hit, I think people are going to take that economic hit. Like I said, Amazon is about to lay off 30,000 people. 30,000. Yikes. And then I think we're going to wind up seeing a lot of consolidation. I think in the financial industry, I think we're going to see a lot of people continue to be laid off in the financial industry. Because the big banks, I think big banks and the larger regional banks are having issues. I think the banks that are coming from regional and graduating up are going to add tremendous pressure on the banks that are at the top because they're bloated and they've forgotten what their direction is. And they haven't defined enough. Make more money, make more money, make more money. Change the rules so we can make more money. And then there's the whole head-to-head competition with fintechs. That's been bubbling over for a while. And then there's crypto. Just saying. They're not in a great space. They're really not in a great space. So I'm looking at several industries start to take a hit. Some industries are going to take a hit not because AI is all that, but I think it's because they figured out how to use AI to actually create solutions. Like we provide a lot of solutions for small businesses, medium businesses, even large businesses, right? We build solutions. But there are a lot of companies out there that are just starting to realize, oh, that right there wasn't a solution. We wasted a lot of money on that. I know a lot of companies that were building things because, oh, we really need this, but never stop to think that the company where they're getting those services from are going to wind up building that feature into their product, which means that you're going to waste money and time for no reason. And I know of a bank that actually did that. Boom, everything blew up. And I'm like, yeah, because you people didn't stop and think. You thought this was going to be a good idea. You actually thought you were going to build competition that would have been, build software that would have been useful to your company, but would have been competitive to your vendor who's in that space. Did you not talk to your vendor to say, hey, when are you coming out with this feature? They would have told you, oh, we're going to come out with that feature in about 3 months. So about 2 or 3 months after you came out with your feature, they came out with their built-in feature, right? So there's a lot of bad decisions when it comes to AI. So that's a massive problem. Again, with the economic hammer that I think is already here, you also have AI as a huge bubble. Name a tech company that doesn't have exposure to it. Salesforce could get hurt by this. That whole agent force thing, the dumbest thing in the world. Anyway, but I think they could take a hit from that, a huge hit from that. That was a bad pet trick. What are you building that's actually providing a solution? You see? What guardrails are you using? Did you think about prompt injection? And not just them, everybody. Everybody. I was consulting at a large bank and I was like, have you guys thought about prompt injection? Oh, how could that happen? Huh? Are you serious? You don't think internal people would drop, little tidbits in there that come together as prompt injection? You don't think that? They would be so small that you wouldn't even notice. How about undetectable text that would get transmitted and actually do that? Have you guys didn't think about that, huh? Oh, okay. All right. It's so easy for a developer to do that, and then it's so hard for you to trace it all back. Who did that? How'd that happen? You have to go through serious forensics to figure out who did what. And if there's if anything's automated, oh, that's going to blur the lines as well. But a lot of these companies started just diving into crypto and did not put in any kind of guardrails. And then they started thinking, oh, well, only certain people should have access, and oh, we should be able to check this and check that. But are you checking the text that's actually going in? You need one malicious person. And here's the kicker. You have things where you have people that are not in development that are meant to put in prompts and things like that. And sometimes they're not trying to do anything malicious, but because they use certain words together, it created a statement. So you just have ignorance. That could be a problem. Yes, that's an edge case, but that's ignorance. So I think that there's more than one way that the AI bubble can hurt. When will that hammer hit? Oh, that's hitting right now. And you're going to progressively see it get bigger and bigger and bigger as time moves on. Companies are going to have layoffs and they're going to blame it on AI. No, you overhired, you didn't know how to run your business, and that's what happened. And now a lot of people are going to be pounding the pavement. That's how I see it. Good luck. Good luck. I think a lot of companies are going to pay the price for poor thinking or lack of thinking. So, like I said, today, because of the storm, I'm expecting a sell-off. Next week, I'm expecting just frenzy. I think it's going to be crazy just because of the weather. I'll be surprised at who could get to a job near a computer, who's going to have power, who's not going to have power. Travel is going to come to a screeching halt because of all the ice that's expected to fall. You just have a lot of things that are going on right now that tell me the market's going to take a hit right now. Crypto is going to keep trading, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens outside the country. right? Now you know why I keep telling you guys. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. And the way you do that is look at news from around the world. Don't just look at in-country news. Look at news from around the world. Not about the rest of the world, from around the world. Listen to what I'm saying to you. So if I'm in the United States, I'm looking for news from news sources that are in the UK, in Singapore, in other places, because they're going to tell me what's really going on because they're feet on the street. I want news from feet on the street. I don't want news that's been, filtered all the way down and being told to me here. If it's told to me here in my country, I'm going to go look that up using other sources in those countries that they're talking about. Why? Because what happens in other countries affects this country. What happens in this country affects other countries. That's why. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. If you like what I'm doing, do me a favor. Go over to Grow My Bag, show some support, become a member. Membership right now is only $1 a month. It's not a lot to you, but it's a lot to us. We do a lot of work over here. 13,000 articles, almost 2,000 videos. We do a lot. And your support really helps. Really, really helps. Right? And then we have more coming. We've got absolutely more coming. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. If you like what I'm doing, smash the likes, tell your friends about us. And remember, do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. Me and the team will always work for that on a daily basis. Everybody have a good one. I'll see you tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Friday Flips. Have a good one. Bye-bye.